Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome in to our last episode of the college football season, Classic City Talks with Classic City Locks. I'm Wes.
I'm Mike.
And today we're going to give you our bowl pick projections against the spread. It'll be our last time matching up college football this season. And we'll recap last week for you, championship week. But and then we'll get into our last picks of the season. But it's been a fun one so far.
It has. We're excited. We're ready to cap it off with one more good week.
Yeah, exactly. So last week there were 10 games to pick. Mike needed 9 out of 10 to go above 500, and I needed, I think, 10 out of 10, and neither of that panned out for us. I got 4 correct, and Mike got 3, so I took the lead in that matchup, and made it 6-6 with one tie in our head-to-head on the season. So how fitting is it that it comes down to the last week of the season to decide? Or we could just end in a tie, but no one would like that, and I wouldn't. I don't think it would accurately reflect the effort put in by both of us this season. But crazily enough, after last week, our records are perfectly tied on the season at 115 and 126.
It's scripted. It's all scripted.
Exactly. Yeah, it must
the
be.
Jig is up.
The NFL contacted us, and we decided to follow suit. But so this week decides the season, both in terms of record and head-to-head, which is interesting, actually.
Yeah. It's all comes down to this, and I just more and more get upset that 1 week where only I tweeted my picks didn't get picked because I won.
Gosh.
So
how would you know you won if I didn't tweet out my picks? You don't know what my picks were.
I did see your picks.
Yeah, but they weren't the same. They weren't the same as the pool tracker. They never are.
Sounds like a cop-out answer to me.
Sounds like didn't get a texted reminder before the game started, but
it didn't know it was my job.
No,
we'll settle it on the field here.
Yeah, let's let the picking do the talk.
All right.
But before we start, I just want to precurse this with bowl season is very different in college football than it has been in a while. There are a lot of opt-outs compared to the regular season.
Yeah.
We obviously record these videos previously before the games are played. So in the future, more opt-outs are announced, the lines shift. So what we're going to do is if the line shifts by like 5 points, then we're going to say that we're taking it at the new line and, maybe tweet out a change.
That's what I was going to say.
In what we selected today. But we're giving you the lines as of today that we're looking at. If it changes, like I said, by a great margin, then we'll go back in and maybe correct that a little bit. Yeah. But just to be fair, you can't pick the same team if the 7 starters decide all of a sudden to not play.
So just keep an eye out for our Twitter if y'all are wanting to tell us on some of these. If we see big movement before the game, I know that at least if someone like Caleb Williams is like, I'm not playing. Yes, we'll let y'all know what we think. Yeah. But this is as of December 12th.
Right. So transfer portal's been open. We do know a lot of names that have gone in that will already affect some games. So.
But this is our snapshot in time, December 12th. Getting right into it. Yeah. First game, number 1 UGA favored by 6.5 playing Ohio State. That's your college football playoff semifinal game. Should be a fun matchup. These teams only met once before. I think UGA won it in like 93, something like that. So just jumping straight into it, I think that the 2 best teams in the country are 1 and 2, Georgia and Michigan. We saw how Michigan handled business on the road. I think that big takeaways from this game are I think that Ohio State's secondary is very, very bad. Mm-hmm. That's where they could be exposed. I think you're going to see a monster day for Georgia from someone like Brock Bowers, McConkey, and I think that run game is going to get cooking too. But look for look for the passing game to get going against Ohio State, and I think that at the end of the day, UGA's defense is way better in stopping the run and the pass. So I'm going to take UGA to cover 6.5 here. I think that Ohio State couldn't get it done against Michigan. They're not getting it done against Georgia in Atlanta.
Well, yeah, I think this Ohio State team is in a great position, having, made the playoff with their 1 loss. And they're very hungry, that's for sure, because they had such a disappointing season last year, and they still have the taste of defeat in their mouth. Like you said, though, Georgia is a predominantly passing team this year, which is uncharacteristically of them. And that will definitely expose some gaps in Ohio State's secondary. The thing that I'm most interested in about is how does that SEC matchup against the Big Ten last year, UGA versus Michigan, kind of influence our decisions a little bit? I think that they clearly got outscripted and outplayed last year.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan did. I would love to see a rematch in the championship, but we're looking at UGA Ohio State right here. And I think that it's tough for Ohio State too. They're not playing with Jackson Smith and Jigba because he opted out already. Everybody else I assume is going to play unless they're transferring because they weren't playing. But I see this game being very close. 6.5 was the line that opened up, and it hasn't moved at all. So they probably got it right where it should be.
I don't think it's going to move.
But that's telling me it's a coin flip, and the coin flip's telling me I haven't predicted the UGA spread at all very well this season. I think
as of recent, have done much better.
I think I have like an 80% not hit rate on Georgia this year. So that being said, it's great that we start out with this one so I can just get the loss out of the way. But I'm going to go with the Buckeyes in this one. I think that Georgia will win, but I think that maybe they win by 6. 7, a whole touchdown is a little too much for me.
Okay.
I think that Buckeyes got a chip on their shoulder, and they could even win the game outright. So I'm going to take them in this one to cover in a close game.
All right.
So we'll move on to the other playoff game. Michigan, number 2, taking on TCU, number 3. And Michigan is favored by 7.5 in this one. And all those things I just said about Big Ten playing in the playoff. They've been there before. They were there last year. Came up very short against Georgia. They were not in that game.
No.
And they were all upset about it. Blake Corum tweeted, "We'll be back, I promise." And they are. Speaking of which, do you know anything about his status? He's out, right, for the season?
Out for the season.
So, they've got a great second option.
Their backups have stepped up, yeah.
Phenomenal. But the 7.5 is a little too high for me for a TCU team that's been scrappy and just every line that's been thrown in their way has been very disrespectful to them. And they lost the championship and they didn't cover in that one. But I'm just a fan of Max Duggan, so I'm gonna ride with the Horned Frogs in this one. I really like their team this year. I've liked cheering for them. 7.5 is just, I don't feel confident if I were to pick Michigan. So I'm going to take a chance on the Horned Frogs, the underdog in this one.
All right. I am going to do the opposite. I'm taking the Wolverines here. I don't think that TCU has played anyone near the caliber of Michigan this season. Michigan is characterized by an oppressive offense and defense. Both sides of the ball, they're going to punish you.
Mm-hmm.
And the game that stuck out in my head when I saw this first was TCU versus Baylor, an above-average defense, and they were just they had to win with a walk-off field goal. I think that TCU, the way they win, are explosive plays, big downfield shots.
Yeah.
In crunch time, very emotional wins that come in the fourth, stuff like that. And I just think that Michigan's defense is too much for that. They're going to limit those plays. They're going to pressure Duggan. This is a team that's been here before, like you said. And as much as I also like Duggan, I think that maybe he should have won the Heisman. I think that just, the 12-win season, backup QB, everything. Regardless, I hate to say it, but I think that the Cinderella story ends here with a thud. I think that Michigan's going to take care of business against them. And, I'm sorry, Horned Frogs fans. It was a fun while it lasted, but this is it.
Kind of flipped the script from last season.
Yeah.
Michigan may be the team dominating this time.
Yeah.
But, all right.
I would love to see a good game there. I think TCU's had a great season, so we'll see. It's the playoffs. Anything can happen.
Exactly.
Up next, speaking of being left out of the playoffs, Alabama favored by 3 against Kansas State.
Yeah.
Just elephant in the room here, no pun intended with Alabama. Opt-outs are the big question coming into this game.
Yeah.
Will Anderson and Bryce Young's status is unknown. Personally, I feel like at least Bryce Young will play. I don't really think that he wants to go out without a bowl win, something like that. We'll see. And I think that if he does play, this is not going to be close. So
No.
Bama's scoring 8 more points per game than them. Their defense is similar. And their losses, as I hate to say it, but yes, there is a point to be made that their losses are not bad. I mean, Kansas State has one more than them, and they're worse. So
Yeah.
I'm taking Bama here.
Yeah, I'm also going to ride with the Crimson Tide in this one. Kansas State is a great football team, but I think that if Alabama can get enough players to, stay and not opt out, which I think they'll be fine even if Milroe backup plays. It depends on
Yeah,
their
he can-
defensive line. Yeah, defense, the front five, that's a big if for them. But I think that they're in a weird place right now where they have a lot of people that need to prove something to Saban, and they've been all this talk about Alabama's culture this year, and they're not the same, or they fell off the pedestal that they've been on.
Yeah.
And I think that this is the spotlight for their players to kind of take all that talk and the rat poison, as Saban calls
Yeah,
it.
I was going to, even Saban himself is like, he's just not losing this game. And I don't think that he's going to let it.
I agree.
I would not want to be at those practices. Right now.
No. So I'll take Alabama there. And we'll move on to Tennessee Clemson. Clemson favored by 6.5 against the Joe Milton Tennessee Volunteers, which is a very, very interesting aspect of this game to me, in that Clemson and Tennessee are now playing with quarterbacks that they have not played with pretty much all season. So that alone gives me a lot less confidence in picking this one. When I first saw this, I was thinking Tennessee, and Clemson under Cade Klubnik, I said at the beginning of the season, was a playoff caliber team, which we'll never get to know if that's true or not. I think they're going to be very, very good with him. But Tennessee, man, they've got the Cinderella story going for them, and Clemson has been historically playing, even with, the quarterback playing all right, they've been just kind of lackluster in the last couple games, getting destroyed by Notre Dame. Then they did end up destroying North Carolina, but I don't know, something in my gut is telling me I'm going Clemson.
All right.
I was going to go Tennessee, and I looked at
yeah.
that. I'm going to go with the Tigers in this one. I think Cade balls out and has a field day against Tennessee's defense.
I'm kind of torn here because, a lot of people were jumping on Tennessee like, oh, without Hooker, you guys are in trouble. But, Joe Milton led Tennessee offense beat Vandy 56-0.
Yeah,
Granted,
he's
Vandy
a good
is
backup.
they're no Clemson, but as much as I also like Cade Klubnik, he only has 2 touchdowns and he has 1 interception this season. So I don't really know if there's enough there for me to really, get sold on it yet. I don't know, but I would say the big thing with me is I think Tennessee, even without Hooker, has so many different people. Jalen Hyatt is the best wide receiver.
Is he going to opt out?
Okay, here's what I'll say. If someone like Hyatt opts out, I'm taking Clemson here.
Yeah.
Right now, though, with 6.5, I'm going to take Tennessee here. I think that Milton, is it Milton or Mixon? Am I saying this wrong?
Joe Milton.
Milton. Okay.
Mixon's the
Alabama
Bengals.
has got it scrambled in my head. Yeah, so I think that he's a good quarterback. I think he can manage the game. When the pressure was on him to finish the season strong against Vandy, he did it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Tennessee, to keep it close. They were on the precipice of a playoff berth. I think that these players want to win. So, yeah, I'll take them if you're giving me the points. But, yes, watch the opt-outs there. If Hyatt's out, I'm a lot less confident in that.
That's interesting. I like what you said there. Makes me want to go with my gut on Tennessee, but I can't pick too many SEC teams. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, up next, we have Utah, who's favored by 3 versus Penn State. I'm going to keep this sort of short and sweet. I think that Penn State is the most underrated team near the end of the season. They have just absolutely dominated everyone they've played. Once they lost to Michigan and Ohio State, they have not looked back.
No.
They have just continued to win, cover. And Utah's running back is out.
Yeah.
Tavion Thomas is out. But
Utah coming off a dominant performance against USC, though.
Yes.
However. They looked like a playoff team almost in that game.
They did, but I think Penn State has a momentum that people just really haven't acknowledged yet. They just keep winning. They want to win. Every single team they play, they're just like killing them.
Right.
So I'm going to take Penn State here if you're giving me the points.
Yeah, going to keep it short as well and also go with Penn State in this one. I like Utah more than I like some other Pac-12 teams.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably one of my favorites, but man, Penn State, I agree with you. They're not getting the clout and enough talk about what they did this season. Obviously, their goal is not to lose 2 games every year, but I mean, they had an objectively amazing season besides those 2 games.
Listen to these last 5 games. Michigan State 35-16, Rutgers 55-10, Maryland 30-0, Indiana 45-14, and then they lost to Ohio State 44-31. Still put up 31 on them.
Yeah.
It's nothing to be upset about.
They're a great team. I like what Franklin's doing up there. I'm excited to see them next year.
Yeah.
When I assume the dinosaur that is Sean Clifford will not be there anymore.
It's time to move on.
Who knows? Who knows? So I'm going with the Nittany Lions in that one. Give me the Nittany Lions. When is that paid off for me this season? We'll go on to USC Tulane. Very interesting matchup to me. It's the New Year's Six Bowl with the Power 5 team in it, or the
Group of
5 team in it. USC favored by 1.5 in this one, so basically you're just picking the winner.
Yeah.
Which I love to see. I expect Caleb Williams to opt out.
What? You do? He wants to play. The only thing that would stop him is that injury.
Yeah, I'm going to be surprised if he plays personally. If I were him, I would not, but he needs 1 more year maybe to
he's not ready to go.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. I think if he plays, I think I'm going to take I'll take USC either way. But Caleb Williams' injury, watch out for. Something about this tells me, he's going to rest up for next season.
Okay.
I don't think this game means as much to USC as they just missed out on playoff, and I think they're a little bit, maybe
emotionally burnt.
Yes, exactly.
Similar to the Georgia-Texas game a couple years ago.
Yeah, but I don't think Tulane is going to have enough weapons to overcome that.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I'm taking USC regardless. I personally feel the opposite. I think Williams is going to play. He said he wants to. I think the only reason he wouldn't is the injury. I mean, we saw it. The dude is very invested in himself and the program. I mean, he wants to win. Yeah, I know that. He's kind of cringy.
I'm not going to say anything about it.
He's really cringy. We get it. He is, but his heart's in it at least. So I think that he will play. But yes,
if you don't get that reference, then just look up something to do with Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams painting his nails before Utah. He deserved to lose after that. So yeah, regardless of Caleb Williams' attitude for whatever, I'm taking USC. You can't deny it. He's a Heisman winner.
Oh yeah, no.
Speaking of that, USC, week 1, I was all over them. I was like, this is a great team. And look at it, Heisman winner quarterback.
What does that have anything to do with how good their team is?
They're a great team. Almost made the playoffs. I just feel vindicated, and I have to
they finished as number 6, didn't they?
Yeah, I was 2 spots off.
Let's see after they lose to Tulane how far they fall, how many losses they have.
All right, up next, I think this is one of my favorite matchups.
Yeah.
Really, really fun one. Washington versus Texas. Texas favored by 5 here. I think that this game is going to be a shootout downfield between Ewers and Penix. I think that Penix is an amazing quarterback. He's the leading passer by yards in the country. He's a top 10 Heisman finalist.
Yeah.
And I think that this Washington team just has good wins. That they have. I'm pretty sure that Texas has 4. Washington has 2.
Wins
sorry, losses.
Yeah.
2 losses. I mean, we saw them go into Oregon and take them down at home in a very, very intense game in the 4th quarter. And Texas might not have Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
And I think that if you don't have him, Washington, you're giving me those points. I think they can just win this game outright.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember something you said to me a while back. If you think a team can win a game outright and they're giving you points, stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think Washington can win this game outright. So I'm going to take them and the points.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to be a little boring here, but I kind of agree with everything you just said. We've talked about on the way here, Texas has just been kind of overrated all season. And there's not really much explanation for that other than, Vegas is doing it, power rankings are doing it, and they haven't played like they should be. I
guess it's just on paper
they're seeing the logo. I don't know what it is, but we liked them coming into the season. I mean, they've had a much improved season this year for the Longhorns, but I'm still going to go with Washington. I got the Washington-Oregon game fresh in my head.
Yeah,
So,
that was an amazing game.
Yeah.
And, like...
I like the Huskies. They had a good season. I think they cap it off here.
Yeah, and Penix is coming back next year, so
Yeah.
we're not worried about him getting out or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I knew we'd be on the same page with that one.
Yeah.
All right, who we got next?
We'll move on. FSU, Oklahoma. And FSU is favored by 7.5 in this one, which is a little bit high, you know. Not coming in as our highest spread of the bowl games. We got 3 more of those for you.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, I really liked what FSU and Jordan Travis have done this season. The game against Florida where they just would not give up despite Florida playing probably their best game of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
And Oklahoma has just not been playing well. And I mean, what we'll see from Venables is still kind of unknown going forward. But I cannot, in good faith, take the Sooners in that one. So I'm going to take the Seminoles of Florida State.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Florida State has won their last 5 games. Oklahoma's 2-3 in their last 5 games. They lost to Texas Tech. They lost to West Virginia. They lost to Baylor. Florida State's beaten Florida, Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, Syracuse, Miami, Georgia Tech. Granted, not super strong opponents, but they decimated Syracuse when they were ranked 38-3. They beat Miami 45-3, Georgia Tech 41-16. Like you said, Jordan Travis is playing out of his mind the second half of the season. He only has 4 interceptions, 22 touchdowns. This is a Florida State team that I don't think you can do anything except give them a round of applause for, an interesting start to the season, and they have just finished strong. Similar to Penn State, I would say. They have just continued to win.
And
they're number 13 in the country.
Their 3 losses were all against ranked teams at the time. Wake Forest, NC State, and Clemson.
Yeah.
And most of those were close games, so, decided by 1 score or less in all but one of them. Someone was saying to me, if they had just won one of those games, they might have been in playoff. If they had beat Clemson and they lost by 6, they might have been in playoff discussion. So,
yeah, if they're number 13, unranked Oklahoma 6-6, I could see Florida State winning this game and it just not even being close.
Yeah.
So yeah, give me the Seminoles there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, Oregon, favored by 14 versus UNC. Interesting matchup. We know we've had a lot of concerns about UNC's defense, rightfully so. But 14, man, that is a lot of points. Bo Nix's status is in the air. We're not really sure if he's going to opt out. Injury, what's all that.
And their leading receiver transferred.
He's gone.
Sure.
I feel like did they lose like a linebacker or something too?
Yeah, exactly.
So Oregon's lost some guys. And UNC, Drake May said he's staying.
Mm-hmm.
I think this game will be a shootout. Yes, I think Oregon's going to score points, but 14, that's a lot of points. So I'm going to stick with UNC to cover here. I think Oregon will win, but I don't think they're winning by over 2 scores.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel the same way. The odd thing about this game is UNC's defense is just not good at all. We saw what Clemson did against them. But the line has moved 5 points since it opened. It opened at 9.5, and it's all the way up to 14 now. And, I like Oregon. I bought into them this whole season. But a 14-point spread in a bowl game is so much to me. I got to go with UNC and take the value there on that spread. I don't know. I don't have much to say besides that. Oregon is a great team. They've had a great season. I wish they had been in the playoff, but, things didn't quite work out with them with a few losses late.
Disappointing end.
Yeah.
Nothing to be upset about.
But the Tar Heels are on track. They're trending in the right direction for their program, especially with May coming back. I got to go with UNC with the points in that one. So we'll go on to LSU Purdue, and LSU is favored by 10.5 in this one.
It's a lot.
It is a lot, and we just saw arguably an LSU team. Yes, Georgia dominated the first half of that game, but LSU, their backup quarterback played phenomenal. Nussmeier. Really?
I'm serious.
But LSU must have had a quarterback with Burger in his name a few years ago.
Garrett Nussmeier.
Oh, well, as good as they played in that game, they have a very explosive offense and a sound defense. I don't care who's playing quarterback for them. 10.5 is a lot. Like we just talked about with 14. And Purdue is a good football team, too. They had a decent schedule this year. I like this matchup a lot. I expected the line to be closer. And I'm going to go with Purdue in this one. I've been picking the Big Ten a lot. The line's shifted in LSU's favor. So a lot of people are picking LSU with a lower spread. But 10.5, 11 points is just too many for me. I'm going to go with the Boilermakers, and Mike's going to pick against me.
No, I see right here I have LSU penciled in. I read a lot of interesting arguments about it, but I mean, coming in here, I was thinking about just what I saw. What I saw of LSU this year, close games.
Yeah.
I think of the Arkansas game. That one sticks out to me. That's just yes, they've got to 5th in the rankings at one point, but just never really fully convinced me. I mean, they're a very up and down team.
Yeah.
You don't really know what you're gonna get. I mean, yeah, Nussmeier, crazy enough, he didn't even play the whole game. He passed for 294 yards.
More than Georgia's quarter, Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
I believe.
So I think that if LSU is going to cover, it's going to be on the pass rush.
Yeah.
What's his name? Who's their absolute monster?
Linebacker?
Yeah.
The freshman. I know who you're talking about. The one leading.
Yeah. So if they can pressure Purdue's quarterback enough, then yeah, maybe. But 10.5 is a lot, and I mean Georgia put 50 points on them. In Purdue, the history of Purdue this year has been close games as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, outside of the Big Ten championship, they kept it close for a while. I feel like they were leading at one point. Against Michigan.
Yeah,
early.
they played a good game against Michigan.
So,
they have one blemish on their record in terms of not covering a close game, and it's losing to Iowa 24-3.
Yeah, I think that was just a fluke.
I
game.
agree.
So yeah, I'm gonna swap here on the spot and go with Purdue because 10.5 is a lot of points in a bowl game.
The Verbo Citrus Bowl. That's what we got in that one.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, moving on to what's this bowl game called? This next one. I'll let you look that up while I look.
Yeah.
Oregon State. Speaking of big lines, favored by 10 versus Florida here. First off, I gotta say Anthony Richardson for Florida not playing. He's declared. Not really surprised there. Funny enough.
Declared as an athlete, you told me.
Yeah, I read something about that he might declare as an athlete. I don't know. Maybe that was just someone on Twitter who didn't know what they were talking about.
The media.
Backup quarterback Jalen Kitna for Florida will not be playing either because he was arrested and dismissed by the team. So we don't really know who Florida's quarterback will be.
Interesting.
So it'll be their third string.
Where is Emory Jones when you need him?
Honestly, yes, they could use him right now.
Yeah.
So who is Florida's quarterback? That's my main question. And listen to this other stat that just blew my mind. Oregon State against the spread in their last 12 games. Mm-hmm. I'm almost positive this is right. 10-2.
Wow.
10-2.
Yeah, they've been very efficient against it this year.
The amount of I think Florida has 17 players in the portal right now too. So if you are telling me I don't know who the QB is, and this is an Oregon State team that took USC to the wire, has good wins, I really think that Oregon State could have a huge win here. So yeah. I'm gonna take the Beavers here.
Oh man, well, I'm looking for every possible way to take Florida in this one because 10 points. I think Oregon State has a very good football team. They're actually above Florida in the FPI as well. With all those problems, I really want to disagree with you and make it interesting and cheer for the Gators in this one. But I cannot in good faith pick them. I got to go with the Beavers of Oregon State. They've been an underdog team all year this year. And I enjoy watching them. I think they're playing good ball right now. Florida, just so many unknowns. I can't take them, even though the point spread is so high. I
mean, we watched Oregon State beat Oregon with that goal line stand.
Yeah.
With the interception, too, right? At the end of the game. They're a scrappy team.
And Florida State beat Florida by 7, correct? Or something around that number.
Yeah, it was close. I think they barely didn't cover.
And, I'm going to go with them. kind of the safe pick there. So
Yeah.
they lost by 7 to Florida State. So
With
I
Richardson at the helm.
exactly. I think that Oregon State should be able to win by 10.
Yeah. All right, who we got next?
UCLA going in. Well, not going into. They're both going in, and they're playing Pitt. And UCLA is favored by 6 in this game. And I'm going to continue my stretch of Pac-12 teams, even though I didn't pick Oregon. But I'm going to go with UCLA in this one. Pitt has had an interesting up and down season. They started off ranked, based pretty much solely on the year before when they had Pickett and they were in the ACC championship. And
they
then
won the ACC.
Yeah, so they've had an up and down year, in my opinion. They beat West Virginia to start the year, and everybody's high on them, and then they lose to Tennessee only by 7, but it was at home, and I'm just not very confident in them. I think Slovis entered the transfer portal for like the 3rd time, so and the Bruins. Chip Kelly's been having a great season out there as well.
They lost to USC by 3.
Yeah, they have a really good team. I'm kind of surprised the line's at 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna take the Bruins in that one.
Well, I hate to be boring, but yeah, you summed it up perfectly. I think UCLA's the Pac-12 was pretty good this year. I mean, they had some good teams come out of it. Pitt's been kind of all over the place. Granted, UCLA does have that blemish of losing to Arizona, but as we talked earlier, last episode I think it was, I don't think that it was Arizona or UCLA playing bad. I think that Arizona just played like their best game of the year against them.
Yeah.
So you take that away, they're a 2-loss team, close loss against USC, and I mean they're taking care of business against other teams. 38-13 against Stanford, 50-36 against Arizona State. Pitt is a little hot right now. They've won 4 in a row, but wait, that's crazy to think about. They were 4-4 outside of their last 4 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that aside, is Slovis going to play? I can't really see. And even if he
transferred, or he's in the portal.
He's in the portal.
So,
so
I mean,
it doesn't mean you have to leave.
Very likely that he will, unless the boosters give him an extra million or something.
I'm pretty sure that UCLA's quarterback's going to play and everything. So yeah, give me the Bruins. I think this should be 6.5 at least, not 6.
Yeah, it's moved 3 points since opening in favor of UCLA. So.
All right, up next. I think this is a really fun matchup.
I think this is the best one.
I love this one. Notre Dame favored by 2 against South Carolina. Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about an end of the season success story, it is 100% South Carolina. I mean, beating Tennessee that is the funniest thing ever to me. Tennessee was like, all right, we've locked it up. Like, yeah, we lost to Georgia. We'll just get through this. And then they just got absolutely hosed.
They ran out of fireworks.
They ran out of touchdown fireworks.
They scored 63 points.
South Carolina punted once. Every other possession was a touchdown. So, yes, they got hosed. And then they beat Clemson, break their 40-game win streak at home.
Yeah.
So, bravo to South Carolina for playing spoiler, ruining 2 orange teams' playoff chances in 2 weeks. But focusing on this game, Notre Dame, no Drew Pine.
No,
he's gone.
In the portal.
And in terms of the QB situation for South Carolina, we had a lot of problems with Rattler coming into the season, but got to hand it to him. 6 passing touchdowns against Tennessee.
He turns it on when he needs to.
He is. I don't know where this
was
if they had played like this at the beginning of the season, they'd be in contention.
Yeah.
I think that USC has the momentum, the motivation. As I've said all year, Shane Beamer is a great fit there, great coach, really good culture. And I think that at this point, with those 2 wins, the team is bought in.
Yeah.
The team is bought in. They're like, okay, we really turned a really like crappy season into a good one. I mean, what is this? If they win this, they'll have 10 wins?
Yeah, something like
10
that.
or 9. I think it's 9. So, yeah, you're giving me 2 points. I know it's basically a coin flip. Give me South Carolina the momentum. I think they're going to do it. They're going to cap the season with 3 amazing wins in a row. So give me the Gamecocks here.
Ask me if I'm taking Notre Dame.
You taking Notre Dame?
Hell no. What kind of question is that, Mike? That was a defining point of the Gamecocks season when that reporter asked Beamer that question and he got raked through the goals in the media.
What kind of question was that?
Hell no, Phil.
How long you know me?
So I'm taking Beamer ball. I love cheering for South Carolina in bowl season. And the Notre Dame team, God, they've come on, kind of turned things on at the end of the year, but with the quarterback questions, and South Carolina is a fearsome opponent, and they're getting 2 points. I'm going to cheer for the Gamecocks in that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with them and keep things boring on the show for everybody watching. But maybe we'll have disagreements in the next two. But
Yeah.
Mississippi State playing Illinois. Illinois is favored by 2. Before we start, I just want to say, as of today, prayers up for Mike Leach in the hospital right now. I hope that him and his family are doing okay.
Yeah.
We don't know what'll be the case when this comes out, but I hope everything. Our prayers and thoughts are with him. So.
Really scary situation. Good guy, good program. So yeah, we hope that he has a speedy recovery. I mean, never want to see something like that, especially someone who is that, a really fun, happy guy. So yeah, we're really pulling for him.
Yeah, but set aside that, we'll go on a brighter note for the game.
Yeah.
Still have to talk about it. This one intrigues me because Mississippi State is a solid team. They've been high in the power rankings despite having to play just an atrocious SEC West schedule.
Yeah.
But Illinois, on the other hand, has also been a very, very impressive team this year. They were one of our underdog teams earlier in the year after hanging on against Purdue.
They took Illinois down to the wire. Or not, they took Michigan down to the wire.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, I think the Big Ten gets another win in this game. I'm going to take Illinois to win by more than 2. So I'm going to ride with the Illini in this one.
This one, I think, is a coin flip looking at these last 5 games. Illinois capped off the season with a dominating win, 41-3 versus Northwestern. But they lost 3 in a row before that to Michigan State. They did lose to Purdue by 7. They lost to Michigan.
What's the game I'm thinking of that Illinois? Was it Syracuse, Purdue? Illinois beat somebody.
They did. I know you're talking about.
I'll look it up.
You look that up.
Yeah.
Mississippi State, similar. They're 3-2 in their last 5. Obviously, they kind of got shelled by Georgia after a good first half. Second half, they kind of got blown out, and they lost to Alabama 30-6. So yeah, I think this is a coin flip. I really don't know what It's just what team's going to show up. I don't really know who's opted out, if anyone has. I'm going to trust Will Rogers here. I think he's a great kind of underrated quarterback out there in the West. I'm gonna trust him to kind of sling it downfield, get a gritty win. So I'm gonna take the Bulldogs here if you give me 2 points.
It was Illinois. It was Syracuse Purdue is the game I was thinking of. I mix my orange teams up because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna stick with Illinois in that one. We'll finally get a difference in opinions there.
Yeah, the people need it.
Yeah.
Up next we have NC State playing Maryland. Maryland favored by 1.5 here. So again, kind of just a coin flip. Just picking the winner here. So NC State, very interesting season for them. They started out very strong with Devin Leary at the helm, experienced team that played together. Then he goes down, unfortunately, with the pec tear.
Yeah.
And that just really shook things up for them. But I will say the backup QB, I'm forgetting his name right now, has really kind of, stepped into it a bit. I guess maybe it just took some time for him to click with the team, but I'm pretty sure they finished the season with a win, did they not? They beat UNC in overtime. They lost 2 before that, but they also beat Wake, beat Virginia Tech, but so it's kind of a mixed bag with them.
Yeah.
I think that it's a good win for them at the end of the season against UNC, showing that this backup QB can, get the job done even without Devin Leary there. Maryland, they've lost 3 of their last 4 games. And because of that, I'm going to take NC State with a little bit more momentum, and you're giving me the point. So I'll take the Wolfpack here.
I'm going to go with the Terps, actually.
Right.
Those the 3 losses in their last 4 games, one of them was a very close game against the Ohio State Buckeyes, who are now in the playoff. And NC State,
and getting hosed by Penn State 30-0.
Well, okay, but Penn State we're both on the board with.
Yes.
So NC State has been a little, I won't say disappointing this year, but we had higher hopes for them. Obviously the injuries didn't help. But,
can't really do much about it.
But it was even before then. I mean, they had a good game against Clemson, but
came up short in that one.
Exactly, and they came up short against a few other ACC opponents. Maryland, they have Tua's brother, and that's,
They're 7-5.
They had a solid season. I think they're definitely on the come up, but it's like you said, I think this one's a coin flip. 1.5, you're basically predicting the winner. And I'm gonna ride with the Terps in this one. I got a feeling about them.
Is Tagovailoa playing?
I assume so.
I mean, he got hurt in the Ohio State game, but it says here he played against Rutgers, so I assume that he is.
Yeah, I don't see him opting out.
Yeah,
but
I think that's a kind of fun matchup, middle of the pack, ACC, matchup. So yeah, I think that could go either way, but we'll disagree. Keep it interesting here.
Yeah, exactly.
Little side note, we did not. There's one top 25 game we didn't predict here because we didn't want to. UTSA versus Troy. Troy being favored by 1. I could care less. Don't really know.
Sorry to all our Troy viewers out there
and
UTSA. I do like San Antonio. I like
deepest
UTSA,
apologies for that. If you really want our insights on it, I guess you could shoot us a DM on Twitter and we'll give you a personalized.
If there's a comment on this video that says, "Why didn't you predict that?" or "I want that spread," we'll get something out for you. But
I don't anticipate
we've talked about that picking Troy and UTSA like 6 times in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and it's.
We're
not experts on that, those teams.
Yeah, we already have
really
enough on our plate having to pick like Tulane and them, which are the upper echelons of the group of 5 teams.
Yeah, exactly.
But that'll do it. Those are our picks. Like Wes said, this is our last video of the year. It's been really fun. We're looking forward to doing more stuff, more content this coming spring. Look for more NBA stuff, NFL. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure I speak for both of us. I had a ton of fun with this.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone that supported us. And stay tuned for cool stuff in the future.
Yeah, thank you for subscribing, for liking, for anything you did throughout the year. The uptick in viewers, whatever it is, makes our day. And we had fun. I had fun. I hated sitting next to this guy all year, but I mean, it was a good season of college football. I'm excited to have shared it with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, and even after this video is over, we'll obviously be updating on Twitter and stuff like that. So stay tuned.
TikTok, everything we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you guys. Have a wonderful bowl season. Happy holidays, and thanks from Classic City Talks.